So today I'll be going over my UX design thinking course project for the user interface and design class for CSCI 443. In this, I built a Harvest Hill golf course that's for a local golf course on where I live in Fairfield, Montana. So first we're going to stop is emphasizing your user's needs. So basically with this, I want to try and stick to a local area. As you can see reading right here, most of my stuff I want to stick through a local perspective on people that this would mainly impact. I also did include a few outside sources to try and get a more insight on what more out-of-state or just out of the local community might think, because I am also local, so I don't want to be completely biased in this. But they all basically said about had the same results. So the empathy mapping here, I want to understand exactly why they would do this, or for the reasons on why they're choosing the way they chose. I ended up finding a lot of information based off this to more subjugate groups to certain tasks in the app and more easily target different groups. And stuff that I found this was more surprising. One of the examples is I used my sister as a test subject since she was also local. She wasn't one that I was expecting to show too much interest in this, but she actually ended up showing a lot more interest than I had planned, because she's only recently started showing interest in golf. So the user needs here, on this part I chose one of my local friends here who also is a golfer. More specifically because he golfed competitively in high school, so he's going to more know the competitive aspect from a more broad point of view rather than a local point of view where you can just mess around. He also does the local golf league, which is a little bit more lax, so he knows a little bit more about different diverse settings and stuff. So here is my business settings. I kind of went through on how I wanted to target people and stuff with the previous tasks I did with the surveys and going over stuff with my friend here. But I found a lot about what I want to target for the app, more on what I envision for the app, and just to more make it what I see fit, but also fits with the people I'm trying to target. So stage 3 here, create ideas. Here I want to create ideas based off of what I learned from the previous things on where I got the business aspect and also the information from my surveyors. I ended up getting a lot more than I potentially needed. I might implement some of these later on, but a lot of them I didn't include, but I tried to keep them at a basic area. So stage 3 for prototyping, which was my favorite part, the low fidelity one. It sounds a little bit boring, but I actually quite enjoyed this, where you basically create a blueprint of how you want to design an app without designing. It's more organizing where you want things put rather than actually design the way they look. And then the high fidelity one was really fun because I also had a logo I already built for the golf course, because our golf course is actually in need of logo and I'm still trying to push of having someone do it, and I did it myself. It made things a lot smoother because I had a logo I can base off of the color scheme and stuff, which I got a lot of feedback from my testers after this saying they loved the color scheme. It fit really well. I guess when I had a logo designed, it sped things up and actually made it look more targeting, appealing, and stuff like that. But with this I also chose symbols that correlate to what they actually mean, which a lot of users found that pretty simplistic and easy to use, because they recognize the symbols and it makes it go a lot easier. The one that I was most worried about was this symbol right here, and actually didn't end up being too much of a problem. So most of these I go around and I just more targeted simplicity, but I wanted to make it look good. Most of it ended up working out great for me in the long run. And then these are the 3 laws that I ended up using with it. And like I said, I want to focus on simplicity, making it just easy to use rather than making it have more functions, and it worked out really well for me. So stage 5, we're going to test the solutions. Another one that I really like to do because I got a lot of feedback based off of my app I built. Let me just go through this quick. So yeah, with my testing here, I wanted to test based off of different groups and or more diverse groups. So I took the more diverse people out of my subject. Here I had 2 people that were fair or in a different age group. The other 3 were pretty younger, more in their 20s and stuff. 2 were female, 3 were male. 2 were non-locals but were local enough. Like one kid was adopted from Haiti and he moved here, and another is from a different town, which makes it a lot more diverse and get more non-biased opinions. And the way I tested it is I use the Adobe XD app, Google Forms, phone communications for any problems or issues, and just other descriptions and stuff. And then I also use Python to code what I had left. So the one task that I found was incredibly difficult that I probably should have stayed away from was creating a sign-in page, because I didn't have the functionality to actually sign in for a lot of the stuff I had. Like I had a Google sign in or Facebook sign in, like what most apps do. That was not a good choice until I actually have the functionality built in for that stuff, because it confused a lot of my testers, making them think they needed to give me their login information and stuff like that. But yeah, like I discussed before, a lot of the symbols were very easy for them to understand. It was very efficient. Like they could go from one place to another with just me asking, oh, can you go here? Can you go there? Can you add a club? Can you go golfing? Or can you change the settings? Stuff like that. And it actually ended up working really well. And I got a lot of positive feedback. A lot of this testing, it did take a while. I had a few people that were, like I said, were confused with the sign-in and stuff. I got some diverse responses, so I know it was more taken seriously rather than just say, hey, I know you, I'm just going to give you 100%. And I said, don't pull any punches, and a lot of them didn't. I actually found out that I need probably an editor to check the spelling, because I had, what was it? One of the something was spelled wrong on here, and my testers caught it, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess that helps when you have a tester that spell checks you. So here are my test results. I managed to use Python here. This is the code that I used to calculate the graphs. I ended up using these questions and stuff and try to calculate the best response or how good they were by taking an average and spitting out the average of each thing. So the ones with the lower scores, I know I need to look at probably a little bit more, which of course the way I discussed was the sign-in page. The profile, apparently people really like using the profile because it's really simple to use. And then this also shows the same thing on which ones I need to work on most, which would be the closer to the 1, and the ones I don't need to work on the most would be closer to 0. Here are the graphs that I use to try and calculate to show more visual representation. I used bar graphs to show how people reacted to certain things, and I have this to show how far, or if I have any outliers that there could possibly be. I mean, this one, you can tell who golfs probably more regularly or who might be confused. That might be more showing in outliers here. So, yeah, and that should be it. Thank you for watching.